So some of you might be very familiar with the swatches, and some of you I feel like don't utilize it very well, or so I want to pull it open and have you guys take a look. So under swatches is under window, we get this pop up here, which is the defaults. Now defaults are fine, right? They're still helpful. You can see that, you know, it's a huge, it can be really massive. You can look at it in different views. It depends on what you like, honestly. Typically, I think the default is this, so most people are used to seeing it in this way. Now, over here on your color picker, you can change colors pretty easily, right? And anything that shows up here while you're changing color pickers can, you can also click up there to change it. But however you do it, if there's a color up here, you can add it to your color swatches. Right now I'm in CMYK mode, so all the CMYKs come up, and that's fine. If I wanted to switch it to a different color mode, I could, but this is just fine. Most of the time I'm going to probably use that hex number right there anyway. Okay, so you can see when it added, it's got that little corner mark to it. Now, most of us typically will not utilize this defaults that are here for gradients. Maybe, I guess it depends on you. Maybe you use some of these. The only thing that I would say is that I like to, if I was working with a brand and they were a client of mine and I used them all the time, after I set up all their color swatches, I probably would want to actually delete most of the things I don't use. Maybe I'd leave grays because that can be helpful. Maybe a couple, basics. And what we can do is create a whole new folder, name it what you want, and then drag all the colors in here that are pertinent to that brand. Maybe they are some of these ones, maybe they're all different ones. Let's see, just add a few so you can kind of see. And then add it again, and then drag them to the folder that's appropriate. Now, what happens is that, remember, I always work in the Essentials Classic Workspace, which means I can see color swatches up here if I'm on a shape. And I like that. I do like that to happen. It means, though, that any colors I like to use often need to be positioned here. So that's helpful. Sometimes, though, it might be too many. Like if I know I'm not going to use any browns or anything like that, then I might as well just delete them. So anything that you think, yeah, it's pretty rare that I'd use that color system, then you can go ahead and get rid of it. In this case, let's say I'm only going to use a few, plus grays, plus whatever. And if you want them even faster, you could drag these up to your main colors, and then you wouldn't need that. You get the idea. Now, once you set up your color swatches, and if you feel like you're done because you're setting up for brand, which you can actually do, and again, it's off screen, but right past here that you can't see, it says Open Swatch Library, which we'll do, but I also want to show you that you can save these swatch libraries, which is really important. So as you're making a new file, you don't have to start from scratch with your swatches. Maybe sometimes it's a personal set that you just really like, and sometimes, again, it's a brand that you're working with that has theirs. So you can save them either as ASEs or AIs. It's up to you. What I don't do is I don't save them in my swatches folder. This is part of the whole Illustrator thing, and I don't want that part of Illustrator. If I update, if I ever need to remove it, etc., I'd just rather it be in a folder that makes appropriate. So if I was working with a brand and I had their folder, I'd stick it in there. Let's pop it over here. And it's saying swatches containing grades patterns are not currently exchangeable. So that if they open up an Illustrator, you can still have access. So all your patterns that you've made for anything, they'll all be part of it. I'm going to make a new, I'll just go to that other file now, and you can see that this is the default again. And now that I've saved it, if I can go, sorry, it's right off screen again, to Open Swatch Library. And if you go all the way down, it'll say Other Library. And at that point, then you can choose your color swatches. So again, you've got all the ones that you might need. The only thing I don't love is that, again, if I'm coming up here, what I see are the ones that are the default of the system. So if I want those colors to pop up, I would need to drag them and drop them into the main system, but that's not that big a deal, right? So either that or you can drop your whole folder. That's even easier. So those are really, really helpful to have as possibilities. The other part having to do with colors is that, remember, when you're doing your color pickers, you've right here we have the HSBs. So we've got your hue, saturation, and brightness. We don't use this very often though. RGBs, we got those equivalents if you need them. CMRKs, you got the equivalents. But honestly, most of us are using the hex number because then it's just a quick copy paste.